I'm gonna give
No,
it
they do.
Hi.
Beauties, beasts, braggadocious muscleheads, and walking, talking houseware. It's the latest trailer for Beauty and the Beast. I'm Sasha Perlraver, and this is Screen Junkies News. There is much to discuss, and with me to run it all down, we have Roth Coronet, Andy Signor, Dan Merle, and on socials, our girl, Danielle Radford. We're going to take a look at the trailer all together, guys, and then we are going to talk about it. So, cans on. Let's do this thing. Jonathan, give it to us.
My dear Belle, you're so ahead of your time. This is a small village.
You are the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen. Nobody deserves you.
And it's small-minded as well. But small also means safe.
Go political there. Kevin Klein.
They've come for my father.
He's a thief.
Come into the light. I will escape, I promise.
Look, a girl.
Who said that?
Hello.
You can talk.
Well, of course. It's all he ever does.
Don't make fun of Rob's
Your acquaintance.
Want to see me do a trick? What happens when the last petal falls?
The master remains a beast forever.
And we become antiques. What did you do to it?
Nothing.
Get out of here!
Are those the wolves from Twilight?
You have to help me. You have to stand.
St. Patrick's Day.
I mean, the music.
If she is the one
You guys.
who'll break the spell,
We're having fun.
you must finally learn to love.
Have you really read every one of these
Let's take a
books?
duet.
Some of them are in
Looking at those books.
As it can be. Rising in the east.
There you go.
Wow.
Really?
What? Neither Andy and I have literally said one word yet.
No,
did
we
sound a
can
little Batman.
smell it coming off of you, though. Like the bro juice was just like wafting
bro
this way.
juice.
Okay, so here are some things that I think we need to run down.
Please, no.
That's what, no, Screen Junkies was founded on
It's
bro
the
juice.
drink of champions.
Yeah. So here are some things that we should talk about. 1991, Beauty and the Beast first came out. It was one of the first animated films to be nominated for a Best Picture Oscar in like decades. It only made $9.6 million on only 977 screens when it was first released, but has gone on to make over 144 million domestic. This was my big question.
Yes.
So they vaulted the movie for a really long time, so it wasn't available on DVD.
Mm-hmm.
Still, it has made $204 million in DVD sales.
It's a great movie.
It's a great movie. So how will this be?
It will be exactly like that movie, but with real people in it.
Well, we have some side-by-side
I mean,
images.
listen,
That's the
Beauty and the Beast is a
question.
great movie. This is going to be that movie, but with people.
So you
There's
think
nothing wrong with that,
Jonathan,
but
can you
that-
have some of the side-by-side comparisons? Like, let's see Gaston from the film. Oh, look, it's the wolves. That looks very similar. Very similar.
Yep.
Although, I don't know. I kind of like the animated wolves better than the CGI wolves. They're a little
Jacob?
Twilighty for me. Can we get the Gaston? There we go. Oh, Luke Evans. So everybody's been saying that
not
Luke
muscly
Evans.
enough.
Yeah.
What?
So
It's what do you want him to do? HGH?
These are actual. It's funny because our camera operator earlier said his chin isn't big enough, and it's like, well, he's a human
being. Yeah, he looked like Jay Leno.
He actually has a pretty chiseled chin for a regular human man.
Yeah.
I was at Disney the other day for a screening and just talking to people. I really think this movie is going to make insane amount of money, first of all. And second of all,
I think we're all in agreement on that.
everything we're hearing is that Luke Evans steals it.
Because Gaston steals Beauty and the Beast.
Yes.
Sure.
It's a great character.
Right, and
Get a
they're going to give him
play a
more to
great
do in
character.
this.
Yeah.
Probably not be so mean, but in a fun, mean way. So that you're actually going to enjoy him in a weird, strange way. So
you do think that they're going to sort of break away from what we know from the animated movie?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's new songs in this movie that aren't in the original movie. Like, they're going for the best Oscar music.
Dan's got a finger up.
I mean, isn't there one new song that was cut from the original movie?
Oh, yeah.
So
there's two. There's Celine Dion does a new song, and who's the other one? Someone else does a new good song. But anyway.
Well, but is Celine Dion doing a new song really? That's just like a sequel to Celine Dion and Peebo Bryson doing the song that now Ariana Grande and John Legend are doing. Oh, that's my girl Celine. I love. So who in the Ariana Grande John Legend breakdown is the Celine Dion? Who is that?
Well, Ariana Grande, right?
Yes.
I don't know. I think it's debatable.
Right.
But
I mean,
I feel
she's
like
singing the female part, so I'm guessing it's Ariana Grande.
John Legend is kind
I
of
like
the
that duet,
Celine
as long as she keeps the vocal exercises to a minimal. 'Cause she's a good singer when she wants to be. She doesn't have to overdo it with her. Like, that's too much.
You guys, I will say this. Look, I watched the trailer this morning because I wasn't watching The Bachelor with these two last night. Sadly, I think that would have been a better night
you
for me.
didn't see.
Don't spoil. I haven't seen that. Was at John Wick.
They incorporated, and now I'm super jealous because you were John Wick.
Are we going to go
Don't
to the
tell me.
Are we going to talk about The Bachelor?
Okay, so you
I
saw
watched
it
it this morning, and I have to tell you, when the song came up, they got me. I mean, they really are.
Oh, I got my hairs went up.
I got the chills. I felt the mushy inside. I had the feelings, and the evil geniuses that are the Disney masterminds got my feelings. I got excited to go see it, and my heart melted. Maybe I'm alone in that. Maybe I need to be more cynical. Weigh in, Dan and Sasha. Should I be more
I don't
cynical?
think it's. I'm not being cynical. I don't think
No, I
it's.
don't think you're
it's not
cynical.
cynical. I just think that Beauty and the Beast is a great movie. Everybody loves that movie, so they're going to do that movie with people, and it's. I view this a little bit differently than Jungle Book. The Jungle Book, I thought, was an okay animated film that they really put a lot of new into and made it fresh and original and new and did and it really surprised me. This movie is already a great movie. As Sasha said, it's nominated for Best Picture. I think the first animated film to ever be nominated for Best Picture.
Not ever, but I think
it was the first time in like 60-something years.
I still think it was fact check me.
Fact check,
I got called on this last week. I still think it's the first animated film to ever be nominated for Best Picture. I think that they're remaking that movie live action, but everything in that trailer is like I could show you the exact scene in the animated film that scene comes from. So I don't think it's being cynical to
Be Our Guest.
To
Also
admit that they're remaking a great movie with people. It's going to make a lot of money, and it'll probably be enjoyable to watch, as the original is enjoyable to watch.
So here's the thing. What I think we're getting here is something very similar to the Gus Van Sant Psycho. I think it is going to be almost exactly a shot-by-shot remake. I think so,
ridiculous.
but it's just going to go live action instead of animated. And I think for people like me and people like Roth and people like Dan who remember the original fondly, it gives you the feels. But for a new generation who have no idea what this is, because the movie came out 26 years ago?
91, right?
This is going to be, I know.
Ancient!
For people who are under 20, it is ancient.
Here's a problem I have, right? You guys are being cynical. That's fine. But do you guys remember when someone did take a chance and made Alice in Wonderland and did it not like the cartoon? Like, that was a dumpster fire, in my opinion. They tried to go new with it. They whole new thing, and granted, I guess they tried to do a little bit more from the book, whatever, but I don't buy it. I'm actually glad they're trying to at least stay a little bit closer to material, but to compare it to Psycho is just so blatantly false and unfair.
I know, that's mean. That's me
because that literally was like an exercise to like, we cannot go away from the material. We have to do this for no reason, but no one asked for it. No one, like, this one, I feel like it is a 2D cartoon, like, generations have lower attention spans, whether that's right or wrong. Like, there's a way to make this grandiose and extend it. I think Beauty and the Beast is a really good film. It's not my favorite one, to be honest. I think there is more you could do to make that story work a little, hit it a little harder, because it is kind of weird. Like, he is locking them in a cat. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in that story that I think you could put in today's world a lot stronger.
Well, let's talk about some of the things that are going to be great. I love Kevin Kline. He is known as
It's a great cast all around.
He's Kevin D. Kline in Hollywood. Hollywood because he turns down every project. So to see him there is great. Emma Watson, I mean, come on. That's just
I like that she's doing her natural
real
accent.
Absolutely. And like Roth said, everybody's been talking about Luke Evans and how he steals the show.
She too, I really think this casting is so spot on perfect. Pretty much across the board from what we've seen so far. The one I'm worried about is Ewan McGregor.
Why?
Lumiere is one of my favorites, and I've heard in the clips
Jerry
I
Orbach
hear,
is so great.
It sounds like he's just doing a bad French accent, and then I've heard like his wife, who is French, has apparently said it's not good. Something I remember reading that, one of the things we did. So that worries me slightly of like, because he was my fan. And when I was a kid, Lumiere is who I connected to immediately in that film as the boy watching like sort of the more
Sure, and Be Our
lovey-dovey.
Guest is such an incredible show-stopping number. But I don't know, I'm surprised.
I hope he's good because he's my favorite.
Yeah.
I think she's made some changes. To your point, Andy, from my understanding is that Emma Watson asked for very specific things for Belle. And I think that she did want to kind of bring, even though I think Belle is already a really great character, she wanted to bring even more to that character. Dan Stevens, who, if you didn't watch Downton Abbey, is now going to be on Legion and FX, and you should watch him in The Guest because he is awesome in that movie, and you can see how he would be very scary and sort of charming and loverly. So I think he's perfect casting. I said loverly, Dan, and it made him really uncomfortable.
How old is he?
Loverly.
I'm just not sure. Is that a word?
Loverly. It's
Okay.
a word now. I don't know.
knows?
But we haven't heard them sing.
That's what I was just about to say. Are we at all concerned about the fact that we have not actually heard Dan Stevens and Emma Watson singing in the trailer? Instead, they went heavy into the song that everybody knows, the Peebo Bryson, Celine Dion song done by Ariana Grande and John Legend.
Does the Beast sing in the movie?
Not very much.
Beast doesn't really sing, does he?
Not very much.
No, he's had
No.
moments.
Yeah, but it's not.
Yes.
She sings Belle.
Belle sings a
No,
lot.
but it's he does. He definitely sings. He sings
Okay.
when they're doing like That's
my favorite song.
Sorry, I'm not gonna
Be Our Guest
be
and
on your net list
Belle
forever, you guys.
are the two that I think are the most important. And
And we know Emma Watson can sing.
Ewan McGregor can sing too for Moulin Rouge.
Yes, I love his voice.
Oh,
but I
beautiful
think
voice.
it's weird that we're not hearing them at all.
Well, they're not hearing
No, I
anyone.
think it's-
We're not hearing anyone sing.
making
I think
us pay
that's
for
great.
it.
Yes. Why do we have to see it all before we go? I want to go when I see Hamilton. I want to see it there. I don't want to listen to the soundtrack before. Like,
it's
You
so
got
good,
tickets to
though.
Hamilton?
no, I haven't. But that's why I don't know Hamilton as much. Because I'm like, I don't want to just keep listening to it.
Sasha
I want to
and I
like
will sing it.
experience it in the
Yeah, we'll
theater.
do the entire thing start
So
to
I'm
finish.
glad they're not doing that because it's
I
like
feel
let us
like
have some surprise.
They're just not giving the milk away for free.
And we have
You
heard
gotta
Belle
pay for
sing.
it.
Yeah.
She has. They released a toy that leaked,
Oh, there
which
you go.
sounded terrible. But then they released the clip of her actually singing to sort of help make it didn't sound like a toy, and she sounds good.
You know who we haven't talked about at all is Josh Gad. Josh Gad, who I think is so incredibly talented, who was doing the sort of co-branding thing with Luke Evans during The Bachelor yesterday, and they seem to have formed an adorable bromance. There are pictures of them singing in the booth together and like having so much fun together. It seems like look at that. That to me, that gives me more hope than anything they've shown me in the trailer. Come on!
They're just hugging.
No, there's.
They better be hugging.
First of all, the fact that they were
Getting
singing
paid
in
a
a
lot
booth
of money.
together.
Exactly. They made a lot of money to make us think that they're really good friends.
They'll never talk to each other.
Fine. I was trying to
That's
bring
how
some
every
light
movie
and
works.
happiness, and the cynicism has taken over. I was thinking they were friends, that it was like a fantastic Mr. Fox thing. They recorded everything.
Maybe they're
they did
hanging out
together.
right now. I don't know.
Josh
Here's-
Gad is so
can I-
underrated.
And he's so talented.
He's so good.
I mean, he's the guy. Let's never forget, he started
Book of
on Broadway.
Mormon.
Thank you. That's where he got his start. So I think he's going to be great and probably one of the better parts of the movie. And that's probably one of the reasons Luke Evans is so good, because he got to work with the Broadway guy. But I don't like your cynicism, and because of that, I'm going to Danielle Radford.
I want to see Josh
First
Gad
of
do
all,
something else.
fact check.
He's playing the Josh Gad part.
I know.
All right, so fact checks. Dan Stevens is 34. And in case anybody else was wondering, Emma Watson is 26. So that's not too bad. Beauty and the Beast was the first animated film ever to be nominated
Thank
for Best
you.
Picture.
I knew it.
Good job.
It was followed by Up in 2009 and then Toy Story 3 in 2010.
Fantasia was, but I'm
Yeah, I
not.
did
No,
too.
trust me.
And then Dan
me.
Stevens there's 3 new songs. They're not going to be doing the song that you were thinking of, Human Again, that was originally cut. Doesn't look like that's going to be in the movie, but there are 3 new songs. One of them is going to be for Dan Stevens called Forevermore. And it's about the moment he realizes he is in love with his beautiful captive.
Okay, wait. Who wrote the music?
The music was written by...
While she's doing that,
Yeah.
this is probably a later video, and I just wanted to make us noodle on it. Are they going to make a sequel to this when it's popular? And
No.
do we
Better
want
You
that?
can't. They can't. Well,
They're just gonna.
Yes, they can.
No, they won't. They're just.
He's not
They're
gonna-
gonna. They're gonna triple down on bringing.
Shrek. What, I mean, they made Shrek change. Sorry.
No. When this makes $200 million,
Emma
it's
Watson becomes
opening
the
weekend,
Beast.
and it is a killer juggernaut. Because even Cinderella made a ton of money.
made Cinderella too.
And by
They
well,
made 3 Cinderellas.
No.
The
I'm
live
talking
action
about,
Cinderella.
I'm talking
the
about
Kenneth Branagh.
I'm talking about the Kenneth
Yeah.
Branagh
Yeah, but that wasn't
Cinderella
as
live
big a hit.
action. It was. It made a lot of money.
money.
It
Alice
really
in
did.
Wonderland got a sequel, which it didn't need, and Jungle Book is now getting a sequel, which it didn't.
But here's the
need.
thing: we were talking about this before we started. There are so many Disney movies that they're doing remakes of, like
So
Dumbo,
many.
which makes me want to kill myself. There's a Tinkerbell movie with Reese Witherspoon in the works. There's
Film
another
or the
one.
remake? Like just Dumbo in itself makes you want to kill yourself?
No. Dumbo
Remaking
is
Dumbo.
why does Tim Burton have to get his grubby little paws on Beautiful Dumbo and do a live action?
If he goes Ed Wood with it,
Dumbo.
I'd be down.
But he's not going to. And
It's
I'm
going to
just
be
so sad.
grotesque. There's going to be a lot of craggly little trees
Yeah.
Circus
outside the
There's going to
circus.
be another Maleficent. There's literally like The Sword and the Stone. There are 400 million remakes, so I don't know if
Exactly.
they're going to have to, and already they've got Jungle Book. But let's go back to Danielle.
Alan Menken is doing all the music.
Oh,
Well, at least
He
she
wants
gets
that
the best.
Oscar.
that's
Get that
okay.
Oscar.
All right, fine. That gives me hope.
And then looking at some of our social,
Yeah,
because we
please.
asked people earlier what Disney classic they would like to see a live version of next. We got a lot of people who were in on Pocahontas. A lot of folks want to see a live action Pocahontas.
Well, Terrence Malick already
I was
did
going to say
that.
it's called The New World.
It's called The New World.
Colin Farrell is in it.
Mulan is next, right?
Mulan.
Yeah, Mulan, they're doing.
Mulan.
people are excited for that one. And Shuggy says that they would like to see some remakes of the secondary ones with potential to improve on them, like Hunchback or Treasure Planet.
I like that a lot. What
I
about you
would like
guys?
to see Disney make a movie as good as they did back in the 90s that is new.
I'm with you on that one. How about a new live-action fairy
How
tale
about
that's
that?
not based on a
That's-
cartoon?
Or
Is
another
it
great
possible?
animated...
No, there's no creative minds
Aladdin
going
or
out in
Beauty
the
and the
world.
Beast.
Rob,
Or
raise your hand.
I feel like I'm going to get painted as like, oh, dude, such a downer. Like, listen, I'm sure this is going to be really good and really entertaining because the first movie is really good and entertaining. Like Gary Busey, you're going to get 2. You had 1 Beauty and the Beast, now you get 2. You get 2 Beauty and the
saw
Beast
Gary
now.
Busey last night at
Now
the
you'll have
premiere.
2 different
That's
Beauty
fine.
and the Beast. I'm sure
I was
this will
so
be good.
hoping I was going to walk by
All right,
meatballs,
Rob,
but they
who
didn't
raised her
have any.
hand, is allowed to talk
Anyway,
next.
I just don't
Dan.
want to come off as the cynic. It's just like, is this
Dan.
everything now?
Rob
Is this
has the
everything now?
You know what, Dan? You're dapper.
He's going
Dan.
on a rant.
You are dapper Dan. You're darling Dan. You're delicious Dan. You're not cynical Dan. You're not downer Dan.
No.
You're Dan the man Dan. We love you.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I really do want to hear about Gary
Thank
Busey.
you.
That's an important story that I,
I feel
want
like
to
you
hear about.
were calling me all of those things.
Nice big
Seemingly,
circle.
exactly.
I'm with Dan. I got Dan's back on this. There's no reason why Disney can't make an original live-action
minute.
fairy
They
tale.
Wait a
pushed that
minute.
to Pixar, but Roth,
This
what's your
is
point?
bonkers, y'all. Like every fairy tale is previously existed. The Little Mermaid, which is my favorite, and I think Andy's too, and was one of the great ones that reinvigorated the Disney, was the thing that reinvigorated the Disney animated studio, is a story that already existed. So I hear you because we get a lot of remakes and sort of like 26 years, though it is a sizable amount of time, isn't 100 years and something that's in.
Look, they made Frozen. Like it or not, good fairy tale,
But that
very
was still
successful.
based
That could have
on-
been a live-action movie.
And
My
it was
point is,
based
they
on
could
a
easily
previously existing fairy tale.
Sure, but they made it its own. Is all I'm saying. They added Olaf. They added Let It Go. They made it Disney, which I think is what the appeal of Disney is.
Yeah.
And there's no reason you can't go back to the well and find another classic fairy tale, whatever it is, and make a new story from it. They're literally taking their own stories and just adapting them again. I think
fair.
it's my point is, we don't just have to always have Disney cartoons. I think this live action trend is fun. But Dan's right. Let's find a live action original story, put a big cast in, have Alan Menken make new music. We would be stoked. It would be amazing.
We would be stoked, but is that, and listen, talk from reality for a second here, because I agree with you 100%. From a creative standpoint, I think you're right.
Yeah.
And from a realistic box office standpoint, what is making money right now? And if you're talking about investing hundreds of millions of dollars or in something, I'm talking about every live action film that we see right now, what at a certain point you have a responsibility, if you're the person making that investment choice, to not do Ben-Hur,
Because it was terribly written. It was terribly acted and directed.
But I think there's also ways to like
you do something that's going to make money, which are frankly very rarely original films.
I think they have enough IP that even if we said, okay, fine, I'd even give them, all right, go make the Captain Hook movie, but do it right. Like figure out a way to do that, because I feel like there are ways to take the IP. It's so vast if you really dig deep, whether it's Treasure Planet or whatever. There's ways to do it that aren't just doing the shot-for-shot remakes that we already know. Like find a pivot and find a little sub-story or a character that deserves its own sort of spotlight. And I think there's a ton of them in the Disney canon.
My problem is I just don't want... Disney has so much talent right now. They're able to work with so many talented directors and writers and actors.
They can work with anyone they want.
They can work with anyone that they want. It's been a long time since one studio has had access to this much talent in front of and behind the camera, and I worry.
The money to spend on it.
And the money to spend on it. They have billions of dollars, and I worry that they are going to spend the next 20 years pumping out really well-made, really well-directed nostalgia.
Okay, but
let's actually go.
Let's nothing original and new. There's room for both.
I want to actually go to the numbers on this so that we can sort of have like a more. But please.
No. We can stop the debate soon, but to counter my own point and to also sort of counter all of our points is that I know how you feel, and it's like we do want to see original creative work, right? But we also got from Disney this year, we got Moana and we got Zootopia.
Great.
And they were great films and they made money. And so it's like, I understand what you're saying, but is there not room for all of it? Or do we just feel like, stop 100%, I don't want to see this shot-for-shot remake?
Well, when we talk about this, here's the thing that I think we need to
Would
also
Moana have
discuss.
done better as a live-action film? Maybe.
No
Maybe.
way. No, I don't think so. I think because children, I think, were more drawn to
We'll
the
find out in 20 years, Andy.
26.
We'll find out in
So
6 years.
I don't know, The Rock in there, really live-action with
The domestic gross for Beauty and the Beast was $145 million. Right now, projections have the live action opening with a 3-day total of $144 million. So what Roth is talking about in terms of you have to know what you can double down on, and people that have parents that are wanting to take their children to something that they're already familiar with, that is a guaranteed.
Oh, for business sake, it makes sense.
100% guaranteed promise.
But you also,
and that way you can ensure that you will make a Zootopia, that you will make a Moana.
But the problem is, sure, and they are, to be fair, you're right, they are making them at least in the animated, and Pixar's doing a great job, every other year it seems. They're still fitting in sequels. But Pixar's doing it right. I feel like you get an original, and then they're going back to the well to sort of rely on it. But for live action Disney, I don't see it. I don't see it. And I just think there's still a live action world out there of these films that you could do. And if this trend's going to continue, great, make Beauty and the Beast. But off the success of Beauty and the Beast, let's have Bill Condon make an original fairy tale. I think we could.
And the thing that I find so interesting is we started this talking about them vaulting. Disney always used to vault their properties.
They're going to run out of things to vault because
we couldn't get them. Like I remember, I was obsessed with Beauty and the Beast, and I could not get it on VHS because they put it away, and this was pre-eBay, and you could not buy it. So they created demand for their properties, and I wish that they would do this. Yeah, exactly. It's a false market, and I wish that they would do the same thing. I wish that they would start vaulting properties a little bit longer, withholding it, giving us more original content, because that golden age, like you're talking about, of Little Mermaid, Lion King, Aladdin, and Beauty and the Beast, which is part of our iconography now in America and in the world, we need more of that. And if we only refer back to what we already know, what are we going to remake in 30 years?
Yeah.
There's not going to be anything left. But
Tomorrowland.
Yeah, well, no.
Actually, I would support a Tomorrowland remake because that was a flawed movie with a really great premise behind it that could be improved upon.
I'm with you.
Lost a lot of money.
I'm with you.
John Carter.
How good of a host is Sasha? Can we do a round for Sasha?
Oh, you guys are very
You're
cute.
amazing.
That is, nobody can applaud when we're talking about Tomorrowland, but we want to know, are we wrong? What do you want to see remade? Let us know what Disney movie you think should be the next live action remake. You can let us know in the comments below. You can tweet us at SJ News. You can always click here for more Screen Junkies. And please don't make Tomorrowland, Disney. Please. Oh, God.
Do it.